Hi, I'm Garfi Godot, and I'm chilling. I'm on the other side of this couch, and it's like really like triggering my neurodivergence, but it's probably not that big of a deal. I feel like I should do a reading about that now, but since we're here, but I'm not going to. I wanted to talk about astrology and how there are placementing with my chart and like what they have kind of amounted to for me in this particular transit. So, as the sun moves into Scorpio and it squares up with Pluto, it's gonna be a really interesting vibe, right? Because Pluto is kind of sitting on um, a lot of different energies, right? It's sitting on my natal Venus, Mars, and Lilith, and it has been for months, and it will be for more months. And then my native Pluto, or my natal Pluto, is in Scorpio. So, what I'm feeling right now is like a real evaluation of how I exhibit my power and like um, how it's expressed through love, through conflict, and through being like an evil bad bitch. Fortunately, Pluto went direct before this happened, or else I feel like the scorpionic energy might have been a little bit too intense for the people in my life. But it's kind of intense for me, and I find myself like pretty sleepless and just really asking myself, why did I do that? I'm just looking at a bunch of different connections. I'm like, why did I do that? Why the fuck did I do that? And like from a perspective of like, I only do shit that I think is going to empower me. I might be wrong in the moment, but like my goal is to seek empowerment. So this transit has me really asking myself that question, but from a place of like, how have my decisions impacted my personal power? And I think that's the question I'm going to ask for these cards right now. I'm using my Celestial Bodies Oracle deck. It's so pretty, it's so nice, and it's helped me learn so much about astrology. And it's available in the TikTok shop. I'm going to try to link it if you would like to purchase the deck. But yeah, how have I found personal power when it relates to my love life and my, I guess, relationships in general? And yeah, because I'm telling you, having Mars and Venus conjunct is not for the weak. When you love someone, you want to devour them. Oh, cute. Uranus in the 6th house in reverse, and we have like a little bit of fire energy. So, I always get Uranus and Neptune confused. I think Uranus is a little bit like dreamy, right? I know the 6th house is about patterns, structure. Yeah, so I guess that's probably why I was like the neurodivergent. See if I can pull that in from the future. I find myself often in like compulsive patterns where I like to just kind of repeat things until they make sense to me, which is cool when there is something that I can get. Like, I find that I can get clarity out of a lot of things, but I sometimes have to pull myself out of that Um, and I kind of see that here because Uranus is like the higher octave of Mercury, invention, rebellion, electricity, rule breaker, order. So it's like trying to find like a creative fire in the exploration of and the incorporation of different energies in my life. And that makes sense because I do have a sixth house stellium. So order is like very important to me. But like it took me a while to kind of realize that because it's a sixth house Aquarius stellium, which is like, I don't know, man. Why would you do that to me, God? I feel like he laughs because I find order in like in what's the word I'm looking for? Unconventional methods, and I think that's kind of like what Uranus is pulling with the sixth house energy, because Uranus is, I think, one of Aquarius's rulers. I pulled Aries though, and that kind of like sits on that fire element where I'm deeply passionate. And I think, especially like when I was younger, I found myself attracted to the type of people that I wanted to become. After like this is gonna sound bad. After like the third guy who was like a fighter, a martial artist, I was like, maybe I should look into martial arts for myself. And not to say that I still didn't pursue other martial artists after that, but I thought it was like kind of cool that like it kind of like the things that I'm attracted to are things that I see in myself. With the fourth house coming out in reverse, there's this like, yeah, it's kind of pointing at, it's like not necessarily a need to create community, but it helps to like draw attention to the things within myself that I can provide to other people, because I kind of see that mirrored in connections. I really like feel like I fall in love with people, but they are literally just copying, matching my energy. So it's like, oh, they're matching my freak, which is cool. Like, I'm not saying copying is a bad thing. I'm like, we're both highlighting the things in each other that are like, that we find hot in ourselves. But I'm so sick of Yod coming out. So we've got Venus in a Yod with Uranus. So it's like love and invention. Pulled with what else? Taurus in reverse. I'm taking it like toxic Taurus energy, where I find myself kind of like rooted and stagnant and stubborn. And it's like, well, I'm not done. It's like, Bessie, you should be done. I'm like, I'm not. I don't have all the answers. The seventh house in connection, 7. So 7 might be relevant. And I say it might be relevant, like it's not like 777 isn't one of my angel numbers. I see it all over the fucking place now. And the sun. So the 3 planets in that Yod would actually be the sun and Taurus. Yeah, I think people see my determination, and it's like almost so with like, especially now with like Pluto sitting on my Mars and Venus and Lilith conjunct, they're like afraid to disrupt it. And so I end up just doing things and like not stopping, because people don't really feel the need to like give me constructive criticism, or when they do give me criticism, sometimes I'm like, nah, don't fuck with it actually. Go fuck yourself actually. And I think it's kind of cute, honestly. I know some people are like, oh, this is not a team player. And it's like, then why do I keep bagging ridiculously attractive and powerful bitches? Make it make sense. I think it's like a leadership quality that I admire in others. also. And so like when it comes to getting into relationships, we have two very like straightforward, like cool ass, like solo, like single minded people. And so there's like not a lot of compromise that can happen. But like when I kind of hit my Saturn return, I think that that was actually like a little bit of like a change for me, because in the past I would compromise constantly, and now I like have a free trial of compromising is what I call it. You get a free trial of me being a sweetie, just so you know that I'm capable of it, just so you know that if I really wanted to, I could acquiesce. Like I have the skill set to compromise, to be listening, to be sweet, to be kind. And now, like with the third house in reverse, with those like original patterns of like my youth, I've kind of like released them, because I found myself with my neurodivergence like really going ham on like changing myself to better navigate situations. Like there's like a video of me from like 1999 being like, oh my god, I love Christmas, and then I'm like, fuck, this is I got a fucking baby carriage. Like literally the tone's like, oh my god, what is it, a fucking baby carriage. So it's like I've been masking like with gender, at least from a very young age. Like the fact that I wear pink, my parents, my mom is like, I've been trying to get you to do that since you were a child. I was like, yeah, it was traumatizing. Yeah, that's why I'm not a fighter. But like I find myself like sometimes not even realizing that I'm just like being cool, like I'm being too chill about something. And I think it's like it comes from like a lack of awareness that I'm uncomfortable, because I don't really have a lot of introspection. Or if I do realize I'm uncomfortable, I'm like, how do I get out of this without like causing too much of a scene? And I think it's a really good trait, because like I don't really just want to sit in unnecessary conflict, and I find that I like the situation tends to resolve itself. But now I'm not like actively going out of my way to create cohesion in situations, and I am more so leaning into my own authority, and it's got some of these people shooketh. Yeah, I'm absolutely shooketh. And I think honestly it comes down to the mammy archetype that has like unfortunately become such a huge part of American antebellum, society, even after, the the unconsensual working stopped for people. People see someone who has like this body type, and they're like, oh, this is someone who's going to nurse me and make sure I'm okay and manage my home and give me all the like emotional support I need, and abandon their own family so that they can take care of me, because I'm built all thick like this. And it's like, baby girl, just because I'm good at it, which is I feel like epigenetic, and also just like cultural, like I do like to care for people. When it crosses the line when it keeps me from like standing in my own autonomy, right? And I think that's a lesson that I learned with my Saturn return, and it's kind of exemplified by this trine here in Yod of like Uranus, the Sun, and Venus, is that like I do have this like stubborn energy, right? But the stubbornness allows me to be comfortable when I do show love, because I feel like I'm not being like exploited. Like I know that I won't be exploited, because I only give as much as I'm wanting to give, and then when I'm done giving, it's done, bitch. It's done. I mean, I can be convinced to like change my mind, right? But like if I'm existing in conditions that are not in alignment with like my comfort, that are not in alignment with like my personal drive, my sense of love, then I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. And like with the current square happening, it's like further highlighting that like my Venus Mars Lilith conjunction, that like when it comes to me and relationships, I'm gonna do whatever the fuck I want. And sometimes what I want to do is be submissive, and sometimes what I want to do is get the fuck out, and sometimes what I want to do is just I don't know, not worry about it and just go with the flow and chill. And what the sun kind of squaring up with that is like, it's having me kind of like take accountability for all the like connections in my life, because of the role that I actively played, like in continuing them, because it's like it's a two-way street, right? And this is not to like absolve any kind of abuse that is existing in my life, right? That's a different discussion altogether that I don't really want to get into. It's more about like interpersonal connections in which things might have seemed imbalanced. It's like, no, I don't know, I just wanted to fucking do it, and then the second I didn't want to do it, it was done, bitch. But I think the problem is, or it's not necessarily a problem, but I think what's interesting is me is that my concept of doneness seems to be very different than other people's, like which I'm kind of like exploring now, my limits, I guess. Because I'm able to exhibit a lot of power, but at the cost of a lot of sacrifice. Like, I did what I wanted, and like I ended up like with very few possessions, and like not super secure housing, right? But I feel good about it, because it was nothing but empowered decisions that kind of brought me to this place. And so that's something I'm really grateful for, is that I feel like the times where I did sacrifice maybe even like the conventional type of like power in a situation, I was making the choice to do so actively. And I think that's really cool and kinky of me, honestly. I'm very much a top from the bottom type of bitch. Anything else? Yeah, Taurus in reverse is coming out again. It's like, it can seem ungrounded how fixed I can be on things, because the determination I have is like unshakable by what is considered to be common sense. Because I think, coupled with the fact that there's like clear cognizance and mediumship and weird magic shit that sometimes I don't even understand, right? Like, I'm making decisions, and then also I just be knowing shit. I really do. I just be seeing shit. I'm like, let me put that in my mind fucking palace for later. So a lot of times my decisions are informed by shit that like other people do not have awareness of, and I find myself like trying to have conversations with people just to test the waters to see if they can be brought into my realm of awareness. And no, my Mercury is like it's low-key is conjunct with my sun, but it's in just based off of orbs, but it's Mercury, it's in the 8th house in Pisces. So what tends to happen is that, like, because I communicate emotionally, people think that I'm like weak or venting or like I need support or something like that. But it's like, no, I'm like simply appealing to the ethos of the situation, right? I forgot why I started talking about that. Yeah, I'm frequently misunderstood. Like, and all right, I try to bring people in, and they just think that it's something else. Like, I'm asking for help, or it's like, or like I'm helpless because I am in touch with my emotions, and I allow my emotions to breathe and exist in a world that is built on emotional repression. However, nah. It's like, if I'm not mistaken, it's like my only water placement in my chart. So, but it's like because it's like conjunct with my sun, and like, I talk for a living. People tend to think it's like my whole identity is just like, oh, they're little poor little broken heart in their sleeve. They're heartbroken. They're struggling. It's like I feel comfortable talking about those things because they don't really affect me a lot. But it creates this like interesting dynamic where I have, and like a lot of my placements are like um, below like the astrological horizon. So and people just, and like my, honestly, like my Pisces is like the only thing that's like just above it. And so people have this idea that like all I am is just like my emotional world, and it's like, no. It's a lot of air. I'm thinking a lot. Oh, I guess my Scorpio is water. My Pluto placement is water too. So it's like very empowering actually for me to exist in my emotions. It allows me, I guess, even more information about my environment that I can then use to like explore these situations and empower myself. Um, so it's all beautiful. This is kind of rambly, but I kind of just want to ramble about myself. I'm so sick of people just like not listening to me or telling me to shut the fuck up or some shit, like with inadvertent social cues or whatever the fuck, or literally. And it's like I'm just gonna talk about myself on the internet so no one can watch it, but also like I don't know, maybe someone will and be like, oh, that's cool. At the very least, I can like validate my experience by allowing myself to exist within it and share it with the world type shit. If you want to see more of me, I have a card link that is my link tree with all of my socials and services below the video on YouTube or in my bio. I'll check you later.